Cobra Kai series is done. What a way to go from hashtag justice for Johnny to hashtag redemption for Johnny. Pretty satisfying conclusion to, this series. Honestly, it felt like it came out of nowhere. I believe it was the guys from, Hot Tub Time Machine, were behind it. But it started off as a series on YouTube Red. Gotta support stuff that's on YouTube. This little show wound up having like 6 seasons after being picked up by Netflix. So it had a pretty good following. It drew, the older guys like me who, started with the original Karate Kid trilogy. It catered to the younger crowd too, who were into the coming of age stuff. I didn't really care for that. What I watched it for was Johnny and Daniel. This series was really more about Johnny's redemption. He went from a rich kid living in the valley to pretty much a deadbeat. At the beginning of the series, he was doing he was basically a handyman, installed that TV on the wrong wall.
You put it on the wrong wall. I said the wall across from the door.
This is the wall across from the door.
Living off of liquor store pizza. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I had some hard times before. Would spend my last $6 on pizza from Little Caesars and stretch it. You just have hard times. But throughout the series, he became a sensei first to Miguel, reopened Cobra Kai, and honestly turned his rival into, what looked like a solid friendship and honestly a business partnership. And he became a better father. I'm not gonna do a true deep dive into the 6 seasons. There was a lot of things that I liked, like all the stuff between Johnny and Daniel, Chosen coming back, even Mike Barnes coming back, and of course Allie. I mean, who could forget Allie? It's Elizabeth Shue. I didn't really care for all the coming of age stuff. All this stuff about, Johnny's school or his team being Cobra Kai, then he splits off into another faction, or he splits off and forms his own team called Eagle Fang, and then Eagle Fang merges with Miyagi-Do for the Sekai Taikai or whatever. And then they go back to Cobra Kai. The one cool thing that did come out of that whole Eagle Fang thing was you got this cool Ryu and Ken photo between Daniel and Johnny. Don't even get me started on the whole Carrie Underwood thing. Why'd they even bring her into the show? Are you serious? Dee Snider, he actually kind of fits into the vibe of the show that I liked, which was 80s, rock. So this is the kind of music that Johnny actually listened to. Enough about what I didn't like. Back to Johnny's redemption. The final episodes of the series were great. Tori, who, fell on really, really hard times, especially after the death of her mother, becomes Sekai Taikai champion.
Knockout! Winner!
And, gets true love, I guess.
I love you, Tori.
Between her and Robbie, I don't know. Coming of age stuff. Teeny bopper, just give me more Karate Kid.
And no fucking mercy.
Miguel had a really good redemption story too. Johnny's first student, kind of a poor kid, was getting picked on when they first met. He even nursed him from a broken back. What the hell is that? How in what world does Johnny Lawrence, nurse a kid who has a broken back?
You're Cobra Kai.
Cool story. Teen championships. They needed to settle the tournament because it was a tie, pitting Johnny Lawrence, Sensei Johnny of Cobra Kai, against Sensei Wolf, who my wife refers to as a very handsome man. I'm not gonna argue that. He even has that whole David Beckham thing going for him.
You ever heard David Beckham speak? It's like he mouth sexed a can of helium. Hey GQ, I'm Louis Tan, and today we're going to be reviewing some fight scenes.
Please don't kick my ass, Louis Tan. I love that they brought back Daryl Vidal for, at least the Sekai Taikai tournament. In Karate Kid lore, he's also a former All-Valley champion. Honestly, he was probably the most talented out of all the martial artists in the first Karate Kid movie. I could do a whole video on him because there's a lot to tell about this guy, and I think I will at some point when I actually start doing a deep dive into this whole Miyagi-verse thing. But I do love that they brought him back to ref the tournament. Had I known that they were going to do this run on Ventura Boulevard, you would have seen my fat ass huffing and puffing along with this crowd here. Man, I wish I would have known about it. Of course, Johnny's losing to, a much younger, much more athletic, much more handsome fellow. Until this.
So stop acting like a little pussy and get out there and kick the living shit out of this asshole. You hear me?
Yes, Sensei.
Gets a couple points, ties the score, and then redemption. Redemption for Johnny. That's the end of the story. You see the creators of the show talking about possibly doing a spin-off of Back to the Future.
Be set in Hell Valley, alternate 1985. All we need are Wilson, Thompson, and Zane, and we got the green light.
Please don't. Johnny and Daniel become business partners and very close friends for the most part. I mean, they're pretty much exchanging students because whoever signs up at Cobra Kai also has to train at Miyagi-Do, focusing on offense at Cobra Kai and defense at Miyagi-Do. So that was it. There's a Karate Kid Legends movie coming out. Don't know how it connects aside from, bridging the Jackie Chan Karate Kid with, the Pat Morita, Ralph Macchio Karate Kid, but it looks pretty cool. I don't know if we're gonna get any cameos from the Cobra Kai cast. Although, you gotta at least have Johnny in there. I'm really thinking I'm gonna do this deep dive into the Miyagi-verse. Starting with the Karate Kid. It's gonna take a lot of time, it's gonna take a lot of research. 1, it's Karate Kid. 2, it's LA. So, why not? Anyway, if you like this video, please hit that like button for me and consider subscribing to the channel. And we'll see you on the next one.
Put one of those hash browns at the end, like hash brown team Cobra Kai or something. And then send it to the internet!